Magic.
We found out last night that Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball, has passed away at the age of 68. This took everyone, the entire world, completely by surprise, as we lost one of the greatest that inspired not only anime fans, but the entire world. As I'm sure most of you can agree with, Toriyama's inspiration affected our lives since a very early age. I'm 38 years old and was introduced to Dragon Ball around the age of 10. Further, my favorite game growing up was Chrono Trigger, in which the art was done also by Akira Toriyama. In fact, he not only inspired me to become a YouTuber, I would never have made Goku vs Saitama, Anime War, or my own series that I've been working on, which is fully inspired by the first anime I was ever introduced to, which was Dragon Ball Z. And I know for most of you, that's what he's most known for, but he has many other works as well. He's been creating works for over 45 years, and his creations will live on forever, inspiring all of us. Naruto creator Masashi Kishimoto expressed his thoughts on the passing of Toriyama, saying that he grew up with Dr. Slump, eventually moving on to Dragon Ball, and every time he had some sort of bad life experience, Dragon Ball always made him forget about it. It was a relief for a country boy who had nothing. Ichiro Oda, the creator of One Piece, said it's too early for this, the hole is too big. The thought of never seeing you again fills me with sadness. I've admired you so much since I was a child, and I even remember the day when you called me by my name for the first time. I remember the day you used the word friend for us, and I remember the last conversation we ever had. Toriyama is one of the people who took the baton for an era when reading manga would make you look stupid, and created an era where both adults and children read and enjoy manga alike. He showed us how manga can bring us together, and he gave that to me. It was like watching a hero push forward. Dragon Ball is probably rooted in the childhoods of creators who are active in all industries, not just manga artists. The existence is a great tree. For manga artists in my generation who have stood on the same stage, the closer I got to Toriyama's works, the more I realized that they had a greater presence. Almost scary. Masako Nozawa, the voice of Goku, released her statement that she doesn't want to believe it, her head is empty, and she doesn't want to think about it. Every time she sees Goku, she remembers what Toriyama said to her. You will take care of Goku, won't you? I cherish that moment, and it makes me think. I will stay by Goku's side until my strength runs out completely. Sensei, please watch over us from the heavens. We hope you depart in peace. Toyotaro, the current artist of the Dragon Ball Super manga, says that he drew manga because he wanted to be praised by Toriyama Sensei himself. It was everything to him, and as we know, the torch has been passed on to him. Even Yusuke Murata, the artist of One Punch Man, giving his thoughts as well. It seems that the entire world has come together to mourn the loss of our hero. Someone who not only created Dragon Ball, but inspired all of us to be creative, strong, fight back, and push our limits. What's interesting to me, as I'm almost 40 years old, is the fact that back in high school when Dragon Ball Z was airing on Toonami, you would get made fun of for liking Dragon Ball Z. It was just this weird cartoon that looked different than other cartoons, and most people didn't understand it. And if you look at the response of the world after 20 years since then, now you get looked at funny if you don't watch anime. And none of this would have been created if it wasn't for Akira Toriyama. In fact, if he had never made Dragon Ball, the world itself would have been a drastically different place. As a manga author myself, at times it's hard to understand the impact that you're having on other people's lives. You sit in your room drawing pretty much all day, if you're the artist as well, and then you release your art into the world. And you don't really get to see everybody reading it or see their reactions. You do get some nice comments and some mean comments, but at times it can be difficult to understand the true impact you're having on the world. And I think we can all agree that Toriyama had the biggest of impacts on our lives. Dragon Ball Daima will be his last work. And I think it's interesting that Goku is a child again, and it's similar to Dragon Ball, which means that Dragon Ball is coming full circle for his death. An almost perfect way to bring Dragon Ball back to the origins of the beginning. As many of you are questioning, what does this mean for the future of Dragon Ball? I don't really want to talk about it too much in this video because this video is more about showing you how much Toriyama meant to the world. I don't know what sort of contracts or how he's going to pass on the intellectual property to who. I don't know what's going to happen yet. I assume that they will announce something sooner than later. Perhaps Toyotaro takes the reins. I think that everyone involved in the Dragon Ball franchise could use some time to take a break and mourn his passing. He was someone that literally everyone that worked on Dragon Ball looked up to, many of which their entire lives, he was the hero. He led the way and paved the path so that so many of us could move forward. Someone like that should be held in the highest regard because it's incredibly easy to follow the path of other people, but to lead the charge is the most difficult. You're traveling in uncharted territory where many people won't understand or appreciate your work. You're not sure if your methods or process or style will ever even work out because you're not following the path of other people. You're trying to create a new one. It's one of the most challenging endeavors a human can ever go through. It's easy to follow the path of others, but to create a path requires a true hero. One that is resilient, one that is not in it for the money, simply in it for raw, pure passion, which is infectious to everyone else. It's very possible that without Toriyama, we wouldn't have Naruto, One Piece, One Punch Man, and many of the rest. It's not that Dragon Ball was the first anime or manga by any means, but it was the one that sparked the revolution. Dragon Ball fans love to fight, and it can be difficult for us to get along sometimes. After all, Dragon Ball is a show about people fighting each other and beating each other up, but not really at its core. That's just the surface. In any case, I hope that with the passing of Toriyama, we can all join together, at least for a brief moment. Stop the incessant fighting. Stop who knows more about the series, who's the bigger fan, what's canon and what's not. Drop all of that and mourn the loss of the one who started it all and paved the path for anime in general. If Dragon Ball was never created, my life would be absolutely different because I got into all of this, all of it, because of Dragon Ball. Not only did it get me to want to start drawing, get me to want to make my own anime and manga, get me introduced to other anime and manga. It was such a huge gateway for me to explore the world of anime and manga. It shaped my entire life and my entire career, from some of my best moments to some of my worst when I was being picked on incessantly. But I'm a very happy man. I have pretty much everything I want in life, and I feel like I led the right path. As long as you follow your passion and your inspirations, you will always live the right path. Recently, we also lost another GOAT, Kentaro Miura, the creator of Berserk. Two absolute legends of the industry who inspired all of us, who wrote stories about trials and tribulations and difficulties, giving us characters we could sympathize with and learn from, explaining the realizations of their own lives through their stories, passing on the key takeaways that they've learned from life onto their followers, emphasizing the values of friendship and perseverance, personal growth. It's with a heavy heart that we mourn the loss of one of the greatest, Akira Toriyama, but his story will live on forever. Dragon Ball will never stop to inspire us to grow and be better and stronger and fight our battles, sharing our love for the story, and showing us that following your passion in life can succeed greater than your wildest expectations.